All right. Good morning. It is morning here on a Sunday. A lot of good things are happening in the news. Of course, this is Russell Mays. And this is my podcast, Radio Russell, at podbean.com. Don't forget to pick up my book at Fear Profits You Nothing at Amazon. So that'll be a good read for you. I'm telling you, propaganda news. That's all we have nowadays is propaganda news. Seems like every time you turn around, some news organization is, how do you want to say it, twisting the way the reporting is being done. And how do I mean that? Well, let's take the riots, for instance. The news people just said that the riots or the news anchors or reporters are there to tell the story and report what is happening. If you can watch how these news anchors or reporters are actually going about what they're doing, they're also sensationalizing what's happening, and they're not getting the true story. You can tell by the way the camera views are and how they're reporting it. They're just salivating for somebody to throw a rock. They're just waiting for somebody to light a fire. Anything like that. I had a huge argument yesterday with a person that was calling me a racist and everything else because I got tired of hearing this Black Lives Matter during this riot, these riots. And the reason is it's not about Black Lives Matter. It's about decency from both sides, the police force and the citizens. Those cops, in my mind, are guilty. But that's in my mind. That's not in a court of law. That is not in the court of anything. I don't care what Jeffrey Dahmer and Charles Manson and Son of Sam, all those were serious murderers. And they got their chance in a court of law. They were not tried in the public media. That's the problem with the public media. It's a good thing that we have the cameras. It's also a bad thing we have the cameras because people are shooting what they want and then posting on Facebook, social media, Instagram, and the rest of it, just what they took a video of without showing the rest of it or the confrontation up to it. Let me ask you something, folks. If that cop was kneeling on that guy's neck and there's people taking pictures of it, if the police were not going to say anything, why didn't the people taking the video say anything? Why not? They were there. They had the right to say something too. But it goes farther than that. It goes as far as watching what's happening on the riots. If you see the news reporting of the media during the day, there's people out there standing with their signs protesting, which is perfectly fine. They show, oh, yeah, there's no violence going on today. There's nothing happening here today. But Then in that report, they're saying, but it's early today. So later on tonight, that's when usually the cops come out and start doing the violence and everything else. They are prepping the people to tune in at night. So when the violence does start, they're not reporting only brief instances. Take Minneapolis. They arrested a whole bunch of people, and all of them were from out of town. They were bussed in or brought in or came in just to cause violence. And that's what the news wants. Then you have these idiot reporters that think if they stand in front of a rubber bullet, they're going to get some kind of an award. And you want to know what's sad about that? They will get an award. See how great he was. He was standing there with a microphone watching somebody that's trying to do something, demonstrate or show their viewpoint, and they got in the way. That CNN reporter that got arrested, nobody can make me believe that was a real incident. I think that was staged all the way. For the simple fact is to stoke the race issue. That's what CNN does. They stoke the race issue. They had a black reporter zip tied, which is the new handcuffs nowadays, by two white officers while other black cops are off to the side. Take a look at the video. You'll see them standing there. Why did they have the two white cops arrest this guy? Ask that question. People are out there burning buildings that have nothing to do with George Floyd. Nothing at all. Why would you burn a building and loot it? And the people that they're asking go, why are you looting? Well, because we want to make a statement. What statement are you making by destroying your friends or neighbor's business? These people are doing this just to get attention. Now, this whole issue comes full circle. And the reason why I say this is what I do believe in my heart the Democratic Socialist Party wants to achieve. And the reason why I say that is most of this shelter-in-place issues was pushed heavily by the Democrat governors, mayors, and city legislators. And of course, everybody else had to follow along. They don't want to be looked at in the media as somebody that's being cruel and killing people. Why would the news report that? If you don't wear a face mask, you're killing people. Please. So anyway, they make people sit in their homes doing absolutely nothing, committing suicides, domestic violence, no job, no money coming in, nothing. Now that the riots are coming on, these people have a reason to get out of their house. They said, we need to get out of the house, so let's go and protest. So now the Democratic Socialist Party has a platform to start their takeover of America. Turn it into a socialist, fascist, and then communist rule. So now you got all these people standing out there protesting George Floyd, which is a good thing. And I think all 4 cops should be arrested and tried for that. But that's my opinion. I do not know the story. So let's get them on trial. Let's find out what happened. Let's do that. So now you have these civil protesters en masse, too. There was a lot of them standing out there protesting. So the Democrats actually institute their violence, shoving their violent people in there. And you could tell them on news. You see people walking around in I don't know, shorts and flip flops and stuff, and all of a sudden you have these stormtroopers, as I'm going to call them, hired by people like Soros and the CNN and the rest of the media, probably even Mark Zuckerberg and the rest, to oh, that's going to get me into trouble. I don't know if any of these people are hiring them. But when they interview them, they said, yeah, they were paid to go out there and do that. So who's paying these people? So they get out there and they start throwing things, burning things. Instantly, when they start doing that, the cell phones come out. Everybody's got to take that picture. Everybody's looking for those clicks on Facebook or Twitter or whatever it is. I blew a gasket because I'm watching Media Buzz with Howard Kurtz. This man is so anti-America leaning, it drives me nuts. He had that communist reporter and somebody or whatever who hates Trump and hates capitalism on there. And she spewed the tweet that said, Trump wants to shoot looters. He didn't say that, and Fox didn't shut her down on it. So Fox is just as guilty as the rest of them on this. Why in the world are we allowing this to happen? How can we understand and find out what the truth is with the media? Everything is geared and designed to create an emotion within you, to get you mad, get you happy, get you out there in the streets violating people. They want to have a war, and they're going to use racism to create that war. And people that have no idea what's going on will probably end up doing it because everybody else is doing it. Just like wearing the masks. That is nothing. Putting a mask on will not keep you from having the virus. Putting the mask on will not keep you from giving the virus. How in the world can 7 billion people have the virus at the same time? So it's like you're wearing it just in case. So what you're saying is you're so paranoid of everybody that's out there that you don't trust anybody. So instead of you not trusting people or actually finding out what the facts is, you start judging people. Even though Governor Cuomo or Mayor de Blasio put out that statement saying, if you see somebody out there not social spacing or distancing, to report them, to snitch on them, to use the SS turn your neighbor in policy. Well, he got a lot of blowback on that, which was good to hear because it was stupid to do that. But the point I'm making on that is it puts that in the brains of the ignorant. And they believe, and you see it all the time. If you go into a store and you don't wear your mask, it might be the store's policy to have a mask. Okay, fine. Wear it, then make them happy. But if you don't wear it, you're not going to get people asking you, are you sick? Do you have the virus? Do you want to catch the virus? No. They start judging you on you not wearing a mask. So in a sense, having to wear a mask means you're subjugating yourself to the government. The best statement I ever heard the other day was, if they want to get this country back going again, you cannot have one business opening up. Because if one business opens up, then the idiot people you voted in will go arrest them, shut them down, do it. Everybody has to open up at the same time. The hell with the mayors, the hell with the governors, the hell with all the politicians. Just open up the country. You've got to feed your family. And if you listen to the news cannot tell you the truth. It's sheer propaganda. Okay, we're opening up the country, but now we're at 100,000 deaths. I want to see these numbers. I want to see the forms of the people that died. Well, you don't have to go that far. That's a little personal. Let's get the coroners or the person that signs off on the deaths. Get them from every state, find out who signed off on them, and let's compile the numbers. If it's the same person in, like, say, like New York City had 13,000 deaths by coronavirus. If it's the same doctor doing the autopsy and saying died of coronavirus, something's fishy. Once you start, just like what they're doing with these riots, once you put people's feet to the fire, things will get done. So if you start unmasking these people who are reporting the coronavirus, then you'll realize that they're lying to you. I can't prove it either way, but I know just by the way the media does, and being in the media industry for a long time, seeing how it's been reported and what is chosen to be reported is scary. I'll give you a little history of my news reporting. I used to work for a radio station in Arizona. I was the news producer. I would come in the morning. This was before we had the internet. And the teletypes, you see them in the old movies, reporting news stories. And these stories would come out in about a paragraph. And this was done by AP and United Press and a lot of other reporting organizations. And they would get stories from all over the world. I would come in the morning, and sitting on the floor was a pile, because as it came off the machine, it'll ribbon it, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. It'd be a pile, probably about, 12 inches deep. You figure that how many sheets of paper that is. And each story on those sheets are probably maybe 3 inches, 3-inch paragraphs, story after story after story after story. I would sit there and have to read through those stories, or actually scan through them basically, and see which headline caught the news, see which stories were the most interesting. And then little old me, would get to tell you what I think you want to hear. Not what the story is, but what stories I think you would be hearing. And that's based on what stories would get the most ratings. So check this out. So you got a newscast. All right, check this out, folks. You're going to love this. In a 5-minute newscast, nowadays it's like 3 minutes or whatever if you're listening to radio. So let's just say 5 minutes. In this period of 5 minutes, you have to have a minute of commercials. Okay. Gives you 4 minutes for news. Then you have a minute of national news. Now you're down to 3. Then you have 30 seconds to a minute of weather. Then you have a minute of local. So we're down to 30 seconds left. Then you have your intros, in and outs. There's your 5 minutes. So within that 5 minutes, I have to squeeze 400 news stories into that period of time. 500,000? How many? How do you make that decision? Think about that, folks. This is what goes on every day at all the news organizations. Are you trying to tell me right now, you turn on any news station and they've got something about the riots going on? They'll run that story all hour long. They'll have news commentators, their own viewpoint panels, and everybody that has an opinion on it and why it is what it is, but not reporting it. So, are you trying to tell me that is the only thing that's happening in this world? Nothing else is going on. The rest of the world is fine. Everybody's living life of roses and champagne out in the meadows, having a picnic. But since that's the only thing you see, and it's the only thing that they're going to show you, that's all you know. If you get on Google and try to Google something, you're only going to get what they want to show you in the first 5 to 10 pages. They're not going to be biased or, objective about all stories coming through. Look what Twitter's doing, trying to throttle down the other side of the viewpoint. I'm still wishy-washy on President Trump's viewpoint of trying to demand what they are doing with throttling the press, which this is what's going to happen. They're going to have to make a decision. Are they a news organization reporting the news, or are they a platform for people to chat and talk and discuss what's happening? I'll give you an example. My podcast was blocked on Facebook for a while. I noticed that they're allowing the link to go through now, and I don't know if it's because of what Trump did or not. But if they're blocking my podcast for just a little bit of stuff that I do, and I have no power whatsoever, I'm at the mercy of whatever they want to. And they make me pay for the ability to have my podcast. So to build my numbers up, to get my ratings up, I have to get the word out. But yet, if they block me from getting the word out, so that means they're denying me the right to make a living. So what do? How do you get the word out? How do you know what is true and what is not true? The truth being, with podcasts, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, Google, YouTube, all of these things are at the whim of people checking it. And it doesn't matter if they say, no, we're just looking over for special content. So where do you draw the line? How do you control fake news, which is rampant on Facebook. Unbelievably bad. Same thing on Twitter, too. Rampant. I don't use Instagram, so. LinkedIn is a little bit differently. Then you're actually talking to people that are trying to do business. But there are a few trolls, as they call them, out there. But when I mean it's rampant, it is rampant on Facebook. The sheer lies. They have a picture, and I had to hide it. And it was people that I know. I can't believe they're buying into this. But it's a picture of a person standing on a sidewalk, and they're pointing out he's got a vest underneath that's handcuffed in his pocket. These are cop boots. What is that? But the meme is insinuating the cops are there to institute or aggravate the rioters into violence. That is propaganda BS. That's a lie. Do you really think if the cops are going to leave a police station to burn, that's like leaving your house to burn just because you want to make a statement? I had a fight with a person about that, saying, oh, you got to do that. Why doesn't take your car down there and let them burn your car? Well, that doesn't help anything. Neither does burning buildings down. Tired. I guess everybody's tired. That's why they need to open this country up. It'll stop the burnings. Just open the country. The burnings and the rioting will stop because people will go back to work and do their jobs. Well, sorry about Minneapolis. They ain't going back to work now because the stupid rioters burned all their businesses. And since all their businesses are burned, they have no place to go back to work for. So now they're really going to be in a bind. And they'll have to drive 50 miles to the grocery store because they burnt all the grocery stores. It's interesting how even here on Podbean or any podcast, and there's a lot of them out there. There really is. How people scan through looking for the topics. And you can tell just by the simple topic that you post what people are wanting to hear. If they don't want to hear the truth, they'll pass you by. If they want to hear some sensationalism, stupidity, they'll listen all day long. Same thing with the news. That's why you got people believing MSNBC and CNN. Even though Fox News is starting to lean to this stupidity too. All I know is I don't know what you people are going to do or how you're going to do it or even why. But if you're out there protesting and burning things, I think you should go to jail right alongside that officer that got arrested. I think you both should occupy the same jail cell. Let you fight it out. Because if I had a business and you were going to burn my business, the right to protect your property is also in your business, and I'll go for it. I'd put them down. I'd take baseball bat, gun, whatever, and put the people down that are trying to bust my business up. You got stupid teenagers. You saw that kid with that skateboard busting the windows? That kid needs to be jacked up and thrown in jail. Poor mommy is letting that little kid out to do what they want to. Are you kidding me? This is how you raise your kids? Well, my name is Russell Mays. This is Radio Russell Podbean or RadioRussellPodbean.com. Pick up my book, Fear Profits You Nothing, at Amazon. Appreciate you joining me today. You take care now. Bye-bye.